Welcome back to Brotherly Beliefs, Faith, Family, and Fun. I'm Malik.
And I'm Tristan. Join us for candid conversations about life tapestry, from the faith that binds us, family that shapes us, to the pure fun woven in every moment. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's dive into the heart of our stories and enjoy a incredible episode of Brotherly Beliefs. Let's talk about trust.
Yeah.
So, love is... love can be scary.
Yeah.
We should say that. Relationships in the beginning can be scary, right? Because you're ultimately putting trust, into someone that, you don't know or anything like that. So
it's new.
Yeah. So, how did you go about building that trust and keeping that trust?
Man, like we said on our previous podcast, things like that, there's a thing called dating.
Yeah.
So a lot of people our age or this generation doesn't really know about that or really do that anymore. But with me and Savannah, we actually did that. We actually took dates and things like that. So it was really refreshing to actually get to know her and see what her background was and things like that. So just being able to pick her brain in that way, it helped out a lot more for me to be able to gain her trust and understand what kind of woman she is.
Yeah, 100%.
How about yourself?
Obviously I was deployed, and so, but my biggest thing is I'll ask questions and I'll have those hard conversations in order to see if beliefs and stuff like that align with one another, because it's important. It's important to have that alignment of beliefs.
Absolutely.
Because, I can't remember the exact percentage, but not having the same beliefs religion-wise can increase your chances of divorce, right? And so things like that, hard conversations, and from everything from religion, money, parenting, everything. These are conversations you should have way before you ever get married.
Yeah.
And the truth is, a lot of people don't.
Right.
These are all conversations after the fact.
Yeah, they're just living in the moment. And then when life hits them, then that's when all those conflicts start to happen.
Yeah, and then it feels like you're fighting one thing after another because you never had a hard conversation beforehand of this. I can give you an example, like breastfeeding, right? Me and Caitlin just had a conversation about breastfeeding, and she's like, what if it's draining? And I was like, well, I don't want to not breastfeed. Ultimately, that's the best thing. That's the best option. That's the most healthy. Your supply's not enough. Okay, we can have that conversation there. It's draining the life out of you. We can have that conversation when we get there. But as of now, we got to breastfeed. And she's like, and she understands what I'm saying, but Kaylin's at high risk for postpartum depression. So she has to be, we have to have those conversations of these things can happen. What are we going to do? Okay, as of now, we're going to breastfeed. And if you start feeling this way or your supply is not enough, we'll come back to the conversation of where do we go from here? Are we going to supplement? Are we going to because there's so many options. Right.
You guys can have that conversation now. Just in case, just have backup plans and things like that. Just like you said, you could supplement. You can try and do half breast milk, half formula, or things like that. Or even if it gets to that point where she can't or doesn't want to at all, then just switch to formula, you know what I mean? But you guys are able to have that conversation now, so that way when the time comes, it's not a shock or not a sudden change of things.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that people our age need to work on is not everything has to be your way exactly, right? Because you can easily get into this conversation and you could ask, we'll say Caitlin asked me a question and I give her an answer and she doesn't like my answer, so and this is not true, this is just a scenario. She doesn't like my answer, so she makes a decision. Well, this is what we're going to do. No, you got to find some agreement, like,
Right,
and
yeah.
especially with children and money. These are things you have to be in agreement with. These are things you have to compromise with. These are not things that it's one way or the other. This is
Right.
it's not a boundary. You can't make boundary with children.
Yep.
Right? It's not how things work.
Yeah. Bouncing back on
Trust, right? But that all comes down to trust, right? Because trust is giving someone the power to break you and knowing they won't.
yeah.
Or hoping they won't.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Cuz they very well can, but you're trusting that they won't do that. Yeah.
Where giving them every feeling, every thought, and all of this, the vulnerability, and that's a big thing. We can even dig into that.
Yeah, because being vulnerable around someone takes a lot.
Oh yeah, like truly vulnerable, like, and
that's how you know you really trust someone.
Yeah, and I think for men in society, it's hard.
Absolutely,
it's painted as this, and it's getting better, but it's still painted as this negative thing of you can't tell someone how you really feel. You can't really show emotion. I could tell you, Galen's seen me cry more than anybody in this world.
Yep.
I've never cried in front of anybody before, like openly or just like willingly before Caitlin, because that was not who I was. That's not what I did. Yeah.
Bouncing back on breastfeeding, man, it's hard. It's definitely a challenge, and I'd say that from watching Savannah, like just from the frustrations of if you're not being able to supply enough and things like that, and just it taking up so much of your life. You know what I mean? That was one thing that Savannah really like hammered into me, because I was trying to help her out, like, hey, it's that time, you know what I mean? And she hated it every time that like she had to do it, or every time that I told her, she would like get upset with me. He was like, okay, like my life doesn't revolve around that. Like now it kind of does, you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just trying to be as helpful to you as I can, you know what I mean? So it's things like that, and then dealing with postpartum depression at the same time, trying to do both. It's just like it could change someone for real.
Yeah.
So.
And that's Caitlin's thing. Is the hope is she oversupplies, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oversupply is the best option.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you can save it for breast milk for a long time.
Oh yeah, I will buy a deep freeze and we'll keep that.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her fear, is that she's gonna be attached to a pump 24/7.
Yeah. And power to the women that have done it, and they do it for up until the baby's over a year old. Like.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing is, and I told her, I said, like, it is the best option, like, ultimately, hands down.
Yeah.
That's from the benefits of like immune system wise and all of this, and nutrition.
Yeah.
Formula has been tied to children's cancer.
I did not know that.
Yeah, actually, I have a whole thing. Formula puts kids at risk for babies at risk for SIDS.
Is it certain types of formula or just formula in general?
Risk of formula feeding.
Mm.
Higher risk of death from diseases. Higher risk of SIDS. Higher risk of obesity. Higher risk of diabetes, childhood cancers, heart disease. Lower risk of lower intelligence. Higher risk of chronic diseases, diabetes, stuff like that. Higher risk of ear infections, higher risk of allergy, asthma, lung infections, diarrhea, infection from unclean formula, higher risk from poisons in the environment.
Yeah, that's
There's
crazy.
so many.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's so many things that your baby's at higher risk for by formula.
Yeah.
So ideally, 100%. You ask me, if you asked me and I had the ideal situation, we have an oversupply for the first year and we're great.
Yeah. Truthfully.
Like, but that's ideal. That's in
yeah.
a perfect world.
Right, yeah. There's so many
everything
things.
aligning.
Yeah. So many things that could go wrong in that situation.
Yeah, and so
But just pray that it lines up great.
yeah,
Like,
I hope
for
so
real,
because
it save you a lot of money too.
Oh.
For real.
I know.
Yeah, it'll save you a lot of money.
And that's another thing is like you already think about how much you spend in a nursery alone. Like not even like throughout the childhood or throughout the infant years, diapers and everything, the wipes, all of that, right? Think of just your nursery. Dog, I've been looking. We just put together our registry.
Yeah. What's the grand total?
The grand total?
Yeah.
Oh, I promise you, it's over like $5,000.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yo, a good car seat, like with good reviews and real high safety rating.
Yeah.
$300.
Even a stroller is about that much. Yeah.
We looked at your stroller thing. Actually, I have it right here. I think I'm telling you, it's so crazy. Like, these people, and it's a whole industry of people profiting off. Like, and I don't mean that like, F the man. It's just an industry. $130.
Yeah, crazy.
The car seat. Oh, this is gonna. I was flabbergasted.
Man.
It's this one.
Especially the brand. Graco's a pretty big brand for babies. And
oh yeah,
like that.
It's so safe. I think this might be your exact one.
Yeah,
but
I don't think this is our one.
But the Elite is better, right?
Yeah.
Safety wise. And you're about to have to have two of them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna need a double stroller. It's crazy.
Ooh, tactical diaper bag.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got it?
Oh, we're getting it.
Yeah.
I got Caitlin on board. Tactical diaper bag, and you want to know what the selling point was?
What?
They have insertions, like bulletproof panels that go in the back of the diaper bag, right? And so, ideally, the world is a crazy place.
Yeah.
Active shooters are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Shootings in public are a thing, right? Boom, you throw the diaper bag on the front of your toddler. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Bulletproof vest.
Yep. It's like, yep, we're getting it.
Yeah. There's so many accessories and stuff, but yeah. Anyway, back to
trust.
Yeah, trust. And the topic is you like. So we talked about like what trust means, but there's so many aspects where you have to put trust and faith in someone, right? Mm-hmm. And when trust is broken, you have to give them grace, right?
Before we get into that, how do you go about gaining someone's trust? What are some things that'll make you like gradually put more trust into someone?
Gaining or them gaining?
You right? Gaining trust or
them gaining trust with me?
No, gaining their trust.
Oh, how do I gain their trust? You show up. That's the truth. Is when, because you are only as good as your word is.
Yeah.
And so it'd be like if I told you we're shooting the podcast on Tuesday next week. And I say, okay, no, Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Okay, no, Thursday. You're not going to trust that when I say next week, the week after that, okay, we're shooting Tuesday. You know, there's going to come with some hesitation of, it's going to get pushed back. And that's the same thing. You got to show up.
Right, yeah.
And when you show up, you have to show out.
Yep.
Do it bigger and better.
Yep.
Right? So me and Caitlin have this thing. I always open the door for Caitlin. Mm-hmm. We try our best. Obviously, when you are spending every day together, there's situations where you can't, like, whether it's time or something, like you're in a hurry, like we got to run to the car, like boom, on the move quick. That's probably the only time I don't open Caitlin's door. But when we first got together, I told her, like, you don't touch doors. We go into a restaurant, I open the doors. We go into like stores where a lot of stores have automatic doors now, but any store that, like when we get to the baby store, had a door, you had a pull. I open the door. Like, there's certain things that it's little things that build that trust, right? So little things up until big things. When those big things pass, it's back to little things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Consistency. That's the best way.
Yeah.
To put it. To build trust, you have to have consistency. I'll be here Friday. I got to show up Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Come hell or high water, got to be there.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? How do you
Get someone's
build that trust?
Yeah. So for me, like you said, I'm only as good as my word. So what I say to someone is like, I treat it like special, because what I said to you was for you only. Like you get to take that and then do whatever you will with it. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna feed somebody a word or information or anything that's gonna damage them. You know what I mean? What I always say to somebody is for the better for them. You know what I mean? So as gradually time goes on, and then like you said, showing up, things like that, there's been several times where I've showed up for somebody in like some of their worst situations and things like that, and just times like that is when they're like, man, like he really got me and things like that, you know. So I'm always gonna feed into you, like mentally, physically, you know what I mean, and like I'm someone, like, I'll make sure that you know I'm someone that you can depend on, type of thing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that also comes with when you can't show up, they know that you really can't show up.
Right, yeah.
Right? So we'll go with yesterday, right?
Mm.
We've been consistent on podcasts.
Yep.
We didn't shoot 1 week. We took a week off.
Yeah.
But we've been consistent.
Mm.
This is the day we're shooting. We both show up and we do it.
Yep.
So yesterday, when we're both like, boy,
yeah,
today's not the day. We got to shoot tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's push it to tomorrow because I'm not feeling it either, man. I'm tired.
Mm.
And so we both know and we both understand, like, if we're doing this, then
communication is definitely key for sure.
We both don't got it. Like, that's and that's okay. It's okay to know, like, I'm not in a creative headspace today.
Right.
But let's push it back till tomorrow.
Yeah. Because truthfully, taking that extra day off is better than just sucking it up and doing it that day and then having a bad podcast.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because I truly think even just us taking that day off or whatever, right now our conversation is flowing smoothly and things like that. And I don't know how it would have went yesterday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just crazy things like that. What would it take for someone to get your trust?
Consistency.
Would you say it's the same thing that it would take for...
Yeah, 100%. Same way, and I believe that's the only way trust is built, is consistency. Mm-hmm. Do you think, and this is a good question, when you're dating and when you're doing this, or long-term relationships, anything, how much trust, like, me personally, I believe some trust should be given. I think there's given trust and I think there's built trust, right? Mm-hmm. I think everybody, like, and this could be naive, this could be looked at a lot of ways, but genuinely, I think you have to give a little bit of trust to everybody, like, and that's surface level, right? So I think there's a surface level of trust that's given to everybody, right? Do you think every person who walks past you in Walmart is going to rob you?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that's a level of trust.
Right. Just like when you walk into a brand new relationship, the open level of trust is that you're not going to cheat on me.
Yeah.
But as far as getting deeper into trust, there's some things that I might not be comfortable telling you right now. Like if I had a dark thing that happened in my life, it's so heavy on me, I don't know if I would trust you with that information just yet.
Yeah, so when, and this is not even just for relationships, it's friendships too,
and everything,
right? Everybody starts with this surface level of trust of, you will not, like, harm me, you're going to be a decent human being, right? You can break that trust.
Yeah.
Easily. That trust is easily broken. That surface level trust is easily broken. When you get to a deeper level, you're like that, like when you're explaining problems, there's surface level problems, right? Man, my tire got flat.
Mm.
Those deeper level, man, my dad died and I'm broken.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go to every single one of your friends.
Right.
You know what friends you can go to
Mm.
in that situation. But for someone to build that deeper trust with me, it's consistency, showing up, that when I do offer you information, you take it and, like, whether it's consoling, whatever it is, like, you do something with it. You don't just, oh, yeah, that's cool.
Mm.
No, you
like brush it off.
Yeah.
Thing.
When you get that deeper level of feelings and vulnerability, you have to nurture that.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with, I don't know what nurturing, nurture. I don't know what the,
like to care for it.
Yes, to care for it. There we go. Like you have to show that empathy and sympathy and compassion. Like
like just don't take it as a grain of salt. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like really like think on it. You know what I mean?
100%.
Take it into consideration.
Yeah, and promises. That's a big thing for me, right? I've spent my life with broken promises. So when you promise me something, stand on it 100%. Don't, like, if I ask you, like, yo, this is how it's going to go, promise? You say promise, that's a contract with me.
Mm-hmm.
You will break some level of trust. Every promise that's broken, every lie that's told, it's and once your trust is built up, there is no, like, once you have somebody's full trust, if you ever notice it, like, there's nothing big enough to fully break that trust.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't. There's always some level of trust left. And this is where when people are like, we have no trust in our relationship, I doubt it.
Right. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in a relationship.
Yeah, like there's you still have some level of trust, some level of hope, and, like, that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Me and Caitlin may have our problems. She may break my trust. I may break her trust. But ultimately, you still have trust that I'm going to be here.
Right.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You can call me, and you know I'm going to pick you up wherever you're at, or I'm going to come get you out of whatever situation you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's still trust.
Right. And then it doesn't even have to be verbal, like promises and things like that. If I shake your hand, then that's a contract right there.
Oh, yeah.
Like shake on it type thing, you know what I mean?
100%.
So, and now I'm expecting your end of the bargain to be met, and then same with mine.
Yeah. So how do you feel your trust is built?
I'm not gonna keep saying same thing you saying. I'm gonna go more into detail, but yeah, I definitely agree with consistency, and like I said, for me, like your word and things like that, because I walk into a place, say work, I just started a new job, things like that. There's all kinds of different people around me and things like that. So I have to protect myself because I'm not sure what kind of people I'm around, you know what I mean? So what could seem like a harmless person could flip the script and then make your life bad just in a second, you know what I mean? Whether that be an active shooter or whether that just be somebody like coming after your job, you know what I mean? So it took a lot of conversation. How do you open up to me? So that allows me to open up to you. And then even though someone may be opening up to you, they might still not have good intentions with what you come out and say to them. So it's kind of like a give and get kind of situation with me, kind of thing.
Yeah, work is the one place that I'm not really vulnerable.
Right, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, my deployment, I think, like, my team lead was the only person that I was really, like, built that relationship where I could be vulnerable. Like, in a work aspect at any time. But, like, I keep my, like, professional life very professional. Like, people at work call me Tosh. Like, they don't call me Tristan. because you don't know Tristan.
Right.
Right? It's two different people.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm at work, I'm an entirely different person.
Yeah.
I run by an entirely different set of rules, and I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's my own sanity, because at the end of the day, when I leave work, when I take off my uniform, whether it's military or at the hospital, when I take off my uniform, I'm me, and whatever happened in uniform, whatever happened at work,
Stays
is left
in
there.
uniform, yep.
You leave it with your boots,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a saying, right? Leave it with your boots,
Mm-hmm.
right? When the boots come off, whatever happened, whatever's going on, leave it there, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's when work and stuff like that affects your family time and your personal life. And all of that can, like, when you are distracted from all of these other things, you're not nurturing the things at home,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Caitlin may need me and may need me emotionally, right? But I'm distracted by what so-and-so said at work or what happened at work or this call or whatever happened. I'm not focused on her needs, right? And that's probably the biggest thing that pregnancy has shown me, right? Is I've been very big on she's having these symptoms. Okay, what can I do to help?
Right.
How can I help you right now?
Yep.
Because you're not in this alone. I'm not going to be some deadbeat who allows you to just go through this by yourself. I'm going to help in whatever way I can,
Yep.
whether that's food, whether that's just listening, whatever it may be. I'm going to be there. I'm going to show up, because what a lot of guys don't understand is, like, for women, that pregnancy is already so hard, and that's the biggest time to build trust as a father.
Yep.
Right? They got to trust that you're going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not missing an appointment. I don't care what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a blood work appointment. You know what? Literally, this is how it went. We walked in, asked if she was pregnant, or asked her how she found out she was pregnant. She said, a home test. She said, okay, well, I think we're going to do some blood work. They drew blood and we left.
Mm-hmm.
It was all 15 minutes.
Yep. Even when it comes to, like, peeing and things like that, those tests, just pee in a cup, drop it off, and just bounce.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
I will be there for every appointment, every step of the way, whether it's just to hold your hand or to see the baby. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Show up.
Yeah.
And show out and do the best you can, because you're only good as you allow yourself to be.
Yep.
Right? If you don't allow yourself to be in that situation, then, like, what are you doing? The little things mean a lot, man. And so you say you're going to be at this appointment, you don't show up, and it's just one after another after another after another. What's going to happen? Like,
it's going to show what kind of dad you're going to be.
Yeah, 100%. And she's going to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's going to know that.
Because she already has so many things going on in her brain right now anyways.
Yeah.
So she's definitely going to think, well, if you can't do this, then how are you supposed to do this? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
100%. And it's great. Like, it's phenomenal. Like, I love this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin, and this is the truth, Caitlin loves it, but she's also miserable because she's pregnant, right?
Mm.
And it's the weirdest thing, right?
Yeah, because you just love being able to experience it. Like,
No, not even like my part yet, right? Her part.
No, I'm talking about her part.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
She loves being miserable, but hates being miserable. Like, it's
Yeah.
entirely.
Especially coming from where, like, it was hard to even get to that point.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
So
And I
you're
think
just
that's-
loving it that much more. You know
Oh,
what
I think
mean?
it's the greatest thing that I've ever, like.
Yeah.
And it's so much excitement, man.
Yeah.
Hey, we were doing what we were doing last night. Oh, gender reveal ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this: me and Caitlin are gonna be the gender holders. Nobody else is gonna know, right? So we're gonna take the envelope
Oh.
and we're gonna go to to a bakery and like drop it off, and we're gonna do our own little gender reveal with just us. But then we're gonna do a bigger gender reveal with everyone else, and we'll be the gender, because that way you don't have to worry about people slipping up and telling anybody or anything like that.
Yeah.
You get to find, like, you as a couple get to find out the gender, and it's more intimate than with you can. Because I know myself well enough. It's like this: when we get married, I know I'm not gonna cry at my wedding. I know I won't. I know that in a room full of people, I will not allow myself to show that emotion. I know it, right? Same aspect, right? That gender reveal, I know I will not allow myself to be vulnerable enough in front of all of these people. Some I know, some I don't know, some, like, I could not allow myself to have that raw reaction. It's just not possible. Right. And I know that. And then you have to know your own limitations. Like, it's just, so we'll do something more intimate where I can have that raw reaction and vulnerable reaction and be happy, be excited, like, and then go out and tell everybody else and do a gender reveal that way. And we can use that as an example. That's the one way. Caitlin knows how I work and how I go, and she caters to that. She's like, okay, yeah, I know you well enough to know, like I am already uncomfortable in big crowds. Like,
so that's another form of like trust and things like that.
And it's because you got like your partner, like when you're in a relationship, and this is something that's going to sound so crazy to young people, is 90% of your time, like outside of work, is with your partner. In adult relationships and grown relationships, mature relationships, 90% of your time is with your partner.
Absolutely.
I'd say closer to 95. Like, you're probably getting 5% of like true alone time. 5% of the time. Is it an important 5%? 100%. You need that time to yourself. But ultimately, like, this whole concept of like, you have your life, I have my life, we have our life together, it's not a dynamic that's going to work long term. Yeah. It's not. Because every action and thing you do affects the other person.
Right. Whether you know it or not.
100%. Like, the decision that you make today is going to affect your partner tomorrow. Whether that's financially, emotionally, mentally, whatever it may be, everything you do is going to have an effect, good or bad.
Yep. And I was just having this conversation at work today where somebody who's young like us or whatever, he's a little younger, but he wants to find the right one. He's like wondering how did you do it, like, and things like that. I was like, bro, you just know. Like, I didn't come from looking for it perspective, you know what I mean? If anything, I didn't want a relationship and things like that, but she found me, and I had to understand, like, I'm not gonna be able to find someone as good as this, even like there is no better, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to find anybody as good as this. And that also ties in with having children and things like that. How do you have a children at this age, or a child at this age? Well, it depends on your partner. It can make or break your experience with that too. Because he was like, bro, there's no way you're gonna be able to go, like, you're working, you're gonna be able to raise your kids, like, have family time, and then also chase your career too. I was like your partner matters, bro. Like, it that much of a difference can show depending on your partner. Like, there's so many people that's on child support right now, and it's becoming like a normalized thing. Like, so many people put themselves on child support to beat the women to the punch. And you shouldn't even have to worry about that, man. Not like we say, there's things that you should figure out about a woman, or figure out in general, like, just the two of you guys, just like conversations about kids and things like that.
Yeah.
So with the right woman and the right partner, you like it just makes or breaks the experience.
Yeah,
Truthfully.
and that's one conversation you have to have with kids, right? Is what happens if we break up,
Right.
Right, and you have to be honest with yourself, and this is where trust comes into play again, right? Because we can have this conversation, but I have to trust you to stand on that throughout any emotion that you're having,
Right.
right? I have like if me and Caitlin broke up today, in this moment, I know for a fact that I'd never be put on child support.
Right. Same here.
I know.
Yep.
Because
And
there's not a phone call that I wouldn't answer. There's not a phone call. There's not a time that if she said she needed something that I wouldn't provide it for a kid. I mean, and that's an adamant thing is my job is not to provide for you anymore.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
My job is to provide for our child, and I will make sure our child has everything that they need. School supplies, shoes, clothes, anything that they need. Got it.
And then it's not even just like what you provide and just showing up, things like that. Some men or women do it out of spite too. So that's another thing that you have to figure out. Like, okay, even though you won't, like, God forbid this never happens. I'm like, okay, what if I cheat on you? And then what's going to happen? Will you put me on child support then?
Yep.
Or will you understand that I messed up in our relationship, so it won't work? But what happens with the child is completely different from what happened with us.
Yeah.
So it takes that level of maturity to be like, man, you did me wrong, but this doesn't have anything to do with our child and things like that.
And it's just like and that's exactly what it is. It comes with maturity.
Yep.
It comes with understanding that this may not be my boyfriend, my wife, my husband, whatever it may be, but this is still the father or mother of my child.
Yes.
Like, because like me and Caitlin have already had the conversation in front of our kids. We ever broke up in front of our kids. We're best friends.
Mm-hmm.
We're best friends. Period.
Yep.
We have disagreements. We have anything like that. We handle that behind closed doors, not in front of our kids. And that's in a relationship and outside of a relationship, period.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids will never see us argue. Will never see us fight. Because that's not, like, you are, like, in this something that's so crazy for people to understand and to people to fathom is you are showing them the dynamic of relationship that they're going to chase after.
Yes.
You are going to be the foundation of love in a relationship, right? So if I'm yelling and I'm talking disrespectful and I'm cussing and screaming at Caitlin, my son's either going to do that or my daughter's going to look for that. Like, is going to be in that situation of like, oh, this is normal. Dad does this. No, it's not okay. Like, you have to show your kids the perfection of love so that's their standard.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had the conversation. We have a little girl, and this is the truth. This is exactly why I don't want a girl, because that little girl's gonna have me wrapped around me, like wrapped around her little pinky.
Yeah.
And boy, that's scary, man. There's
not much you wouldn't do for her. If anything.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's terrifying, right? And I told Caitlin, because she sent me some video of some like little girl kicking her mom out of the bed, and was like, "You're going to sleep on the couch. I'm sleeping in your spot." And I was like, Caitlin, our daughter says that, boom, you gotta go. You're out. Like, go sleep on the couch. You heard her.
She make the rules.
But it's just like, and that's ultimately what it is I know for a fact that I can teach my son so much. I could teach a boy so much. I have so much knowledge and so much life experience for only being 23 years old. Like, right. I have been through so much and done so much that I know I can guide them in the aspect of what it means to become a man. A daughter, It's scary.
Because all you can show her is what a man is supposed to look like.
Not even that, right? So I saw it I saw a post and it made so much sense when I thought about it. It said, a woman will teach a girl to be a woman, but a man will teach a woman to be a lady. So Caitlyn can show her what it means to be a woman and how to love and how to do this. But, and this is something that's going to blow people's minds, and but there's this thing called classiness, right? So, what's today? Tuesday, Friday. Go out downtown and tell me how many girls you see half naked. Beautiful women, half naked, right? So that's not classy, right?
Yeah.
The definition, like what classiness is looking good and showing off those curves and all of that, but doing it in a modest style, right? So you can do a skin tight dress, but do you have to show your whole body?
Right.
Right? Are you going to leave anything to the imagination?
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, and that was my whole thing when I was single is, I don't want someone who is, like, not classy. Be classy. Like, leave something up to my imagination. I don't want everything just put in front of me on a platter. Like, oh, this is exactly what I'm gonna get. No, I like the curiosity of, she looks good in that. I wonder if she has back dimples. Like, make it interesting. Yeah. Right.
It's because, like, I don't mean to sound sleazy, but I don't want it if it's that easy. You feel me?
100%. And then, and that's honest. Like, I don't, like, even if it appears that way. I don't want it if it appears, because the same way, like, you're holding yourself now is what I'm looking like. Well, she might do this in our relationship, and I'm not okay with that. Like, I'll be like, I should not know that. Like, here's a good example. Me and Caitlyn have the conversation. I don't care what Caitlyn wears. She wear whatever she wants. I won't tell you what you can and can't wear. Except, you know that mesh material, like
the see-through
material?
Yeah.
No, nada. Wear whatever you want. Don't wear that.
Nope. It comes with a thing where it's like just respect. Like,
and that's what
it comes to a point where you're like, you shouldn't have to tell somebody what to wear and things like that. And I get there's some boys that like are like, no, I don't want you showing no skin or just things like that, or I want your titties covered up completely, like type stuff. But I married you knowing you was bad.
Yeah,
strut your stuff for real. Yeah,
and
but like you said with the mesh and things like that, you have the respect for me to know that you probably shouldn't wear things like that.
And that's. But that was my dynamic, like in the conversation of, are you going to tell me what I can and can't wear? Nope. But there's boundaries. There is a boundary there. Like if you walk out and I could see your ass cheeks and your titties through your shirt, like, yo, what are you doing? Yeah. And at that point, I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't wear. I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
I'm going to be done.
Yeah.
Like, because that's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, at what point did you think that I would be okay with it? I mean, it's like I said, it's not a choose what you can and can't wear, but there's things that I'm going to be here for, and there's things that I'm not going to tolerate. Yeah.
I will bounce out.
Yeah.
And I will tell you one time, I'll be like, yo, if this happens again, I'm done. I'm good. I'm out. All Gucci.
If you think that you probably shouldn't wear it, then you shouldn't wear it.
Yeah.
Like, if you think this is something that's going to upset me or, like, be disrespectful towards me, then don't do it.
Because that can get into our next conversation, right? There's this, like, the difference between men and women, right, in relationship is men feel that love in the aspect of respect, right? Respect my word, respect my decisions, respect what I like say and do. Like, just show me respect. If I can go home right now, I'll go home right now and tell Caitlin I'm getting a dog. I bet you she won't have any objections. She's gonna respect my decision, and that's if I go home and I was like, I think I want a new car. We've had this conversation. I want a new car. I don't think my car really fits me. Like, it's not really like what I've driven in the past. Like, it's just not me. I want a new car. I kind of want a Camaro. It's not logical to get Camaro now. I'd probably get a Charger, like a Super B, Scat Pack, something a little quick.
Yeah, a little quick.
And but she'd be like, okay, do it.
I feel like with both of those situations, that's something you should have a conversation about, because a dog that's another living thing that you both have to take care of.
We could have the conversation, but if I made the decision, like the car, right? My car. If I was like, I'm trading my car in, like, what do you think? She's like, do it. We can afford it. Do it. Because.
And that's where I was going to go into with that. Like, that's a financial like thing right there. Yeah.
And Caitlin, but Caitlin's going to trust my ability to make decisions financially.
Right. Yeah.
100%.
Wouldn't do anything to detriment.
Exactly. Like, the finances. I will not buy anything without triple, quadruple, checking 5 times over that we can afford it.
Right.
And I'll break it down, and I'll be like, before I call Caitlin for any big purchase, I'll be like, look, I already did the math. We can afford this. You cool with this? I bought a gun. I bought the AR, and I was like, yo, I did the math. We can afford this with no hiccups in our budget at all. Like, you okay with this? Yeah, do it. If you want it. But I'm also the person who doesn't really buy anything. Like, I hardly ever buy stuff for myself. Yeah. So when I do, it's probably, number one, it's probably more expensive. And number 2, Caitlin's like, do it. You deserve to spend money on yourself too. I just bought a $200 PlayStation controller.
Damn, really? It's $200 for the controller?
for the DualSense Elite. With the back paddles and adjustable analog sticks, great controller, by the way. I love it. It's not sponsored, but I stand by it. 100%.
Don't get in a match with this dude. You try hard.
I'm sweaty, bro. Sweaty.
Hands clammy.
Sweaty. No, but we've been talking about it, and I've been saying I want this controller, and Caitlin's like, yeah, get it. Like, if we can afford it, get it. And so we were at Walmart, and we went in for something, and I just stopped by the electronics section. I was like, they have one. She's like, get it. Like, we can afford it now, and we can afford it now before the baby comes. Like, just get it now, because we don't know what our budget's going to be like after the baby's born. So I get it, right? Luckily, it's the last one they had. The guy at Walmart pulled it out of the case and was like, yeah, these keep selling out so quickly. I'm like,
yeah.
Boy. But like, she's not going to run the numbers. She's not going to, she's going to trust the fact that if I say we can afford this, we can afford it.
Right.
Because number one, she trusts that I'm going to find a way, even if we couldn't afford it, right? If anything came up unexpectedly, I'd find a way. I do, like, I know how everything works. So if we're in a situation where, boy, we forgot about this, I'll figure it out. Yeah. We'll figure it out together, one of us. And so you just got to have that trust and that fundamentally, and then build that deeper trust.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about gaining trust. We've talked about trust in general. Now, what are your thoughts on rebuilding trust? And it doesn't just have to be with relationship and things like that. It could be with friendship as well.
It's easy. It is. Rebuilding trust is easy. People make it seem like it's harder, it's impossible, but it's not.
Does it depend on what broke the trust to begin with?
No.
So regardless of the situation, it's easy to build it back?
With willingness.
Yeah.
With willingness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm willing to build trust and you're not, it'll never work.
Right, yeah.
It takes willingness from both parties. It's a two-way street. Rebuilding trust is a two-way street, but once you're both willing to do it, it's easy.
Mm.
Because you both can be mindful, right? Mindfulness is so important.
Mm.
Because I have to understand that I broke your trust in this way, and now there's certain parameters that I have to follow in order to rebuild your trust.
Mm. Because you need that reassurance from whatever it was that broke the trust in general.
100%. Because I have to teach you, I have to show you that you can trust me to never do this again. Whether it's, and I don't care what it is. And people say you can never come back from cheating. You can never come back from this, that, and another. You can. You can.
Yep.
Like, cheating is not a done deal for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
It may be a done deal for you, but for me, it's not, right?
Yeah. And like you said, like it's not a done deal for you. For me, it is. But I don't knock anybody that goes like that tries it again. You know what I mean? Like, salute to you guys, because it takes a strong relationship to be able to do that to begin with, for one, and for two, there's always a comeback from a situation like that, from any situation. Like, that one time could be the only time that it ever happened.
So, and this is what I tell people, right? Have you ever had a relationship like Savannah?
Nope.
All right. Savannah never would. I know Savannah. I
Yeah.
know Savannah better than anybody in my entire life.
Mm.
Savannah would never cheat.
Mm.
But if she did and you were put in that situation, I guarantee it'll be different.
Yeah, it'll be different for
right?
sure.
It'll be different. You won't walk away immediately.
Nope.
I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you you'll give it a college try. I guarantee. Like, no, I'm telling you, listen, because I am the same way.
Yeah.
I got out of a relationship with so-and-so, right? Been through it, done it. Said I would never do it again.
Yeah.
When you're put in that situation, it's entirely different.
Right.
When you've experienced something you've never experienced before, and you know, like, and it's the foundation of, I know who this person is, right? Like, here you go. If Savannah cheated on you tonight, right, and you found out tomorrow, day after, she came to you and told you, right? You think you would just walk away and be done? Honestly, in your in your heart.
Truthfully, I can't because we have too many things together right now. It would be a process, and if the relationship were to be able to be saved during that process, then yeah, I might stay. But if she cheated and I know, I'm like, okay, this isn't something I want to stay for, I have to figure out what our house is going to be like, because we have this house together. I have to figure out when I'll be able to move out. I have to figure out what would be in the price range to afford by myself. I have to just be independent and figure out what will work best for me and my child.
Yeah.
Because now I have to not just supply for the whole family. I have to supply for myself and my child. So
Two children.
Yeah, children. Yeah. So I have to be able to make that move and get that situated, which you don't have time to think about that beforehand. You shouldn't have to think about things like that beforehand. So it's a long
That's
process.
actually very bad to think about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's actually called something.
Self-sabotage?
No. It's self-sabotage is when you do something to sabotage your relationship.
Yeah.
But there's I can't think of the actual term, but when you think about how you leave, or you always have an exit plan, it's not healthy.
Yeah. Truthfully. And like I said, we never think of all this stuff until now. We're having this conversation. Like, there's so many things that you have to line up and get in order for you to, it's not just you can just walk away type of thing. And that's what happens like when you're married and things like that, when you have a child together and things like that. So
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's people who aren't in that situation, who are in their first long-term relationship, like long-term relationship, who have like thought about marriage in this relationship and stuff like that. Like, it's easy to say I wouldn't stay, but then when you're in that situation and you know Savannah, you know who Savannah is as a person, right? It's easy to like, it's easy for you to understand someone's perspective, right? It's easy for you to. It's easy for you to call out on their bullshit too. Like, it's easy to say, "Oh, this isn't that isn't you." So that's not true. So you can this is your chance to be honest with me and tell me the truth of what's going on and what you were thinking and all of this, because the truth is the same way. If Savannah spent too much money, right? You're gonna have a conversation of like, what were you thinking? Like, what were you like? All of these things are repairable, right? Name one verse in the Bible that says it's okay to divorce.
I don't know one.
There isn't one.
Yeah.
I don't think. And if I'm wrong, someone let me know. But there isn't one. It talks about forgiveness. And to forgive you like God will to forgive people like God will forgive you.
Yep.
Right? You're one.
Yeah.
In God's eyes. So you figure it out. Right? Because the same way you're going to figure out if Savannah was driving your car and crashed it, you'd figure it out. Yeah, you'd be upset.
What does it say about adultery?
I can tell you. Here's the thing about divorce. It has been said anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immortality makes her the victim of adultery. And anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Adultery. And this is all Matthew 5. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her heart in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown in hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
So, what do you take from that message? How would you interpret it into your own
divorce,
words?
right? It says divorce. The only thing you can get divorced for is infidelity. Wait, let me make sure. I want to be sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sexual immortality. So, cheating.
Yeah.
Not talking to someone.
No. Like.
Not kissing someone.
Yeah. Having sex with someone.
Sexual intercourse.
Yes.
Right? Is the only thing that authorizes divorce. So, here you go. You find out Savannah's texting another dude. There's a challenge between faith.
Yeah.
Faith and your
flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Yeah, because it's crazy because you caught it at that point. What if you didn't catch it? You know what I mean? You just never know what could have happened.
Yep.
Like either she would have stopped it herself or she would have went forward and committed adultery. So it's just, I don't know, man. That would be a big fight between your flesh and the word.
And so then, right, you divorce her without the sexual immortality. Now, if she ever marries again, it's adultery.
Right. That's crazy how that works.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Without the sexual immortality, you've now put her and everyone else in the position of adultery.
So now that we've talked on the relationship side of it, what is your thoughts on rebuilding a friendship?
See,
What it differs, right?
it does differ.
Because with the relationship, you told me that
You can come through anything.
yeah, basically,
right?
yeah.
You can rebuild trust no matter what.
Yeah. Now, how does that fall with friendship? Because in the Bible, it just says forgive, love thy neighbor, and things like that. Just forgive as you repent for God to forgive you.
Yeah.
So, what is your take on friendships?
I would say there's people who I have no beef with, but I am no longer friends with.
I completely understand.
They will never rebuild the trust that I had for them. But there's no hatred in my heart for them. There's no means to get even or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because that comes from my relationship with God, not our relationship with God. That's the difference between friendship and relationship and marriage, right? Because relationship and marriage, it's our relationship with God. We have our own relationship with God, but our marriage is built on our relationship with God.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm. So do you wish that person the best in life, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. And that's what I mean by when I say I have no hatred or anything like that, is do your best. Let God have you prosper and follow whatever path he has for you. But our paths no longer cross. Our paths are no longer intermingled. You stay over there, I stay over here, we're good. Like, I have no beef with you. Like, there's no animosity or anything. I wish nothing but the best. Like, I pray God helps you prosper, but you don't have. I don't have to be there to help and guide you in your prospering.
Yeah. And that was a test question, because had you said that no, you don't wish the best for them and things like that, then you don't truly forgive them, because that's still hate in your heart.
Yep.
How could you not? You know what I mean? So. And I'm the exact same way as you. I have people that I was friends with for a long time, and now things happen, and I'm no longer friends with that person. I forgave them for what happened, and I pray for the best for them. I wish that they eat, you know what I'm saying, but can't eat at the same table as me, you know what I'm saying, because our paths don't align anymore. That trust was broken, and I couldn't see it being rebuilt. So I wish you the best, you know what I mean? And I pray that you make it in life, where whatever it is that you want to do. But I don't see us being able to do it in the same boat, you know what I mean?
And it comes from, and I think a lot of that, there's certain things that, as my boy and as my friend, you
held to high expectations.
Yes, you're held to higher than expectations than anybody else.
Yes.
Right? Some random dude says some crazy stuff to my girl. Okay, we'll have a problem then, but after that, it's left alone.
But
there's
you say something.
You said something. Yeah. You said this thing, or you speak on my character in a way that I don't hold myself to.
Because there's so many boundaries that's crossed when that happens.
And you. I can't trust you to tell the truth, right? You paint this picture of me being this person to someone. Now, first of all, I don't care. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Is if this person wants to believe every word you say without getting in their own account,
then that's on them.
That's on them. I can't do anything about that. That's not on me. It's not on me to go around and straighten the story for everyone. I straighten the story for the people who deserve it.
Right. And if it's on if it's on you to spread those lies and things like that, knowing who I am, then that's just a detriment to yourself as well.
And
like,
so
to yourself.
I don't care who you told. What I'm going to do is hold you accountable and say this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even then, there's a level of reconcilability. But the moment you lie about it, the moment you twist the truth, the moment that you say this wasn't said or this wasn't said when I know it was, that's the level. Because now you're not only saying these things about me, but you're also lying to my face about them.
Right, yeah.
So now it's the same way with cheating, right? I know the truth. So I come to you with the truth and I say, hey, what is this? Now you're making it so much more difficult to rebuild that trust within a relationship. And so do I think that trust is rebuildable in a friendship? To a point.
Yeah.
But there's some things that, just as in a relationship, I don't have to accept this.
Yep.
And I will walk away.
Yep.
Because just as I have boundaries in my relationship, I also have boundaries in my friendships.
Yep.
Because it's like this, right? I know I could leave $100,000 sitting on this table right here, leave and not be back for 2 weeks.
And no, it'll still be here safe.
100%. I know for a fact. But the moment, and that's kind of the thought process I have, is the moment that I think you would touch $1 on that table, you no longer have a seat at that table.
Right. Yeah.
Because the truth is, I break bread with everyone. I've always been that person to give and to allow so much, and when you take that all for granted, now it feels personal, and I'm not going to sit here and allow that.
Right. And with that being said,
this has been an episode of Brotherly Beliefs. Check the description for all the links. Like, share, subscribe, notification bells, all of it, whole 9 yards.
If you don't have us on YouTube, get us on YouTube. If you don't have us on Spotify, get us on Spotify. If you don't have us on Apple Podcasts, get on Apple Podcasts.
Facebook, TikTok, all of the above. Let us know what you guys think and what topics you want us to dive into.
Give us some feedback.
And
we'll
until
catch you
next
guys
time.
later.